Let us, oops, I don't think this is on. Hello? Oh. All right. Is that okay? Yeah.
Point it towards yourself.
All right.
Oh, hi.
We're having some technical difficulties this morning. Thank you for bearing with us.
I'll help you with this.
Okay, thank you.
Very loose today, but we're going to make it work.
Okay.
There's a gray Toyota out there that has their lights on.
If anyone has a gray Toyota, the lights are on.
Which is real.
There you go.
Stevens our hero. All right. Let us enter into worship with the words of Hannah Roberts Villeneuve. Some people sometimes ask, is pride a protest or a party? And the answer is, of course, yes. And why not? Why not rejoice as we resist, dance as we demand change, celebrate as we create community that delights in all of who we are? So bring all of that with you this morning. Bring your policy demands, bring your glitter, bring your Supreme Court broken heart, bring your rainbow socks, bring the emptiness you feel for siblings gone far too soon. Bring your Gloria Estefan remix, bring your tender hope for change. Bring your most garish eyeshadow, bring your spirit tattered and battered by a world that seems insistent on choosing hate and fear. Gather up all these things and bring them here to a place where we don't have to shoulder these burdens or celebrate these joys alone. Come, let us worship together. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit to join our voices in our opening hymn, May Nothing Evil Cross This Door, number 1 in our gray hymnal.
Remain standing as Amira Eldenary lights our chalice with words from Linda Lee Franson. We light this flame to ignite our hearts and minds, the spark of knowledge that enlightens, the shimmering hope that burns, the blazing love that engulfs our actions, the bonfire of our commitment. We light this flame for those who celebrate themselves, who fear, who hope, who persevere, who stand on the side of love for all. We light this flame for those who have been ridiculed, that they may find peace. For those who have fought to marry, that they may celebrate. For those who live in uncertainty in the world, that they may have hope. We light this flame to renew our commitment that no one shall ever again suffer for the right to love. We light this flame to celebrate our kaleidoscope of diversity, working, loving, and living on the side of love. For this, we light this flame.
It is now time for our story for all ages. I invite all of you to gather around as we hear a special tale called My Shadow is Purple, written and illustrated by Scott Stewart. My dad has a shadow that's blue as a berry, and Mom's is as pink. My mom's is as pink as a blossoming cherry. There's only those choices, a 2 or a 1, but mine is quite different. It's both, and it's none. If theirs are straight, then mine is a circle, for my shadow is different. My shadow is purple. My shadow loves playing with all sorts of toys. Things loved by girls and things loved by boys. I dance with the pinks as they turn and they sing, and play sports with the blues as they lose and they win. Some of my friends think I'm simply confused, but the thing I love the most is not having to choose. Some tell me I'm blue, only blue can be strong. But my mom's strong too, so I think they're wrong. Some tell me I'm pink, 'cause pink's the most caring. But my dad's always kind, and loving, and sharing. Why can't I love sport, and dancing, and trains, and ponies, and glitter, and engines, and planes? Why must I choose and exclude all the rest? I love choosing both, because both is the best. And now it's time for the greatest event. The school dance is here. The invite's been sent. I'm ready to rock, and I'm feeling quite cute. My mom made my skirt, and my dad made my suit. I bounce through the door, and I gasp as I enter. The room split in two right down the center. Blue shadows go left, and pink shadows go right. Once we're split up, we'll kickstart this night. Everyone laughs as they head to their zones, and I'm right in the middle. I'm left all alone. I look to the left, where the shadows are blue. They wave me over, saying, "You are blue too." Then I look to the right and I struggle to think. They call me over. Come on, you're a pink. The teacher walks up looking rather amused. I know you are different, but now you must choose. My heart just starts racing, and tears fill my eyes. I know I must choose, but I don't understand why. The room has gone quiet, and everyone's looking. My cheeks are so red, they feel like they're cooking. If I cannot be purple, then I cannot stay. I'll leave and go home, I quietly say. I slowly start walking. My legs are like jello. A voice breaks the silence. My shadow is yellow. My eyes open wide, my shadow, it gawks. A child walks to the middle, looks up and talks. There's more than two colors our shadows can be. I was scared too, but blue is not me. I know from the outside, blue fits like a glove, but my shadow is yellow, which to me feels like love. They turn with a smile and take hold of my hand. Who wants to join us? There's room here to stand. At first, no one moves, then a hand's in the air. My shadow's as brown as a big grizzly bear. My shadow is red, mine's silver, mine's green, mine's violet, mine's orange, mine's aquamarine. They all rush to join us, whatever their color. Blue, pink, and purple, and shadows called other. I look at each shadow. No two are the same. On each happy face, there is no trace of shame. Each different and special and fully unique. No color stronger. No color is weak. The teacher comes over as we're joined as one. Whatever your color, start dancing. Have fun. Thanks for listening. I now invite you to join in our musical response. The more we get together, the words are printed in your order of service. Please remain seated for our prayer hymn. We Would Be One, number 318 in the gray hymnal. the silence that follows the spoken prayer, you are invited to come forward and light a candle for any joys or concerns you hold in your heart this morning. Spirit of love and life, source of all that is, may divine essence of love evoke within every living, breathing being acceptance, welcome, delight, and compassion. May all that is sacred and all that is holy, all that is, was, and ever will be, affirm each identity, each expression of love, each expression of self. To those who defy the status quo, may you know you are beautiful. To those who profess love regardless of what society expects to express gender in myriad ways, may you know you are a gift. To those who have been rejected by family or faith, may you know you are sacred and holy. To those who fight for equality and rights, may you know you are cherished. To those who have just come out, may you know you are worthy. To those loving, resisting, and celebrating, may you know you are whole. To those delighting in selfhood, regardless of stigma, may you know you are precious. Spirit of love and life, be with us as we celebrate, as we protest. Be with us as we resist with songs of love and justice, made louder than proclamations of hate, with dance moves that overpower stigma, with glitter that creates joy that is more powerful than prejudice. May we live our faith of unwavering acceptance and consistent affirmation, our faith free of judgment and condemnation. May we live our faith where all are welcome, all have worth, and all know love. May it be so, and amen. I now light a final candle for all else that remains in our hearts and on our minds this morning. If your heart is hurting, know that your community is here to help, as am I. Please reach out with any needs.
As we prepare for our offering this morning, I invite us to explore it through the lens of pride. Like our LGBTQIA+ siblings, may we as a congregation take this moment to celebrate who we are. We have been called a gem, the little church that could, and a sweet congregation. Let us lean into the best of it all. May our gifts of time, talent, and treasure support the expression of our identity out into the world, including our mission to invite seekers into spiritual community, connect souls in mystery and wonder, and ignite compassion into action. As we create a sanctuary of welcome to all, may we also embrace all that we are. For those of you watching the service online, you may contribute to a virtual offering plate using the donate button on our website or by mailing a check to the church office. Will the ushers please come forward? For all that you give and all that you do for our church community and its wider concerns, we give thanks. Here are the words of James Baldwin. Everybody's journey is individual. If you fall in love with a boy, you fall in love with a boy. The fact that many Americans consider it a disease says more about them than it does about homosexuality. Mattering, written anonymously by a gay high school student, adapted by Mark Hicks. My father asked if I am gay. I asked, does it matter? He said, no, not really. I said, yes. He said, get out of my life. I guess it mattered. My friend asked why I talk about race so much. I asked, does it matter? He said, no, not really. I told him yes. He said, you need to get that chip off your shoulder. I guess it mattered. My neighbor asked why I put that ramp up to my front door. I said, does it matter? He said, no, not really. I told him because it made my life easier. He said, is there a way to make it less obvious? I guess it mattered. A member of my church asked why I like gospel music. I asked, does it matter? She said, no, not really. I told her that it connects me to my Southern Christian childhood. She said, I think you're in denial about your oppression. I guess it mattered. My God asked me, do you love yourself? I said, does it matter? She said, yes. I said, how can I love myself? I am gay, Latino, disabled, and a Christian in a hostile climate. She said, that is the way I made you. Nothing will ever matter again. The words of Laverne Cox. We are not what other people say we are. We are who we know ourselves to be, and we are what we love. That's okay. Please rise in body or spirit to join our voices in hymn 170 in the gray hymnal, We Are a Gentle, Angry People.
We are gentle and we
As a note, I want to let everyone know there's a silver Toyota in the parking lot with the engine running. If you need to step aside, I invite you to do so. Okay. I hear whispering. Okay. Where can we simultaneously, I hope everyone could hear me about the Toyota, great Toyota. All right. Where can we simultaneously experience fistfuls of glitter thrown into the air, all the colors of the rainbow plastered copiously on windows and storefronts and blowing in the wind from flags abundant, music of love and justice collected from throughout the decades filling the air, eyeshadow and lipstick and dresses and heels plentiful and shared among celebrants of all genders. Where can we find all that is delightful and beautiful and celebratory, held as an intentional act of defiance and resistance, as well as a celebration of selfhood? It is those same occasions that I have arrived at, donned in clerical collar and stole, linking arms with colleagues as we affirm as faith leaders of myriad liberal and accepting traditions that God, Spirit of love, source of all that is, this entity or essence or being in the sky, loves you, all of you. This place or a compilation of places surrounds us this month as we affirm, honor, celebrate, and commemorate our lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, asexual siblings during the month of Pride. It is a time when we proclaim love is love, that gender norms are no more than a social construct and that gender diversity is beautiful. It is a time not to simply allow for those who have been marginalized or tolerate those who defy social norms, but to delight in these sacred differences. Pride, an unabashed celebration of self and a jubilant, joyful resistance. What often brings these gifts to fruition? An accepting, affirming, welcoming faith. How can we be that faith? Let us take time this morning to journey together. Historically and in contemporary culture, alongside the joys and delights of pride, was and is discrimination, hate, fear, stigma, and prejudice. The country experienced the AIDS epidemic swiftly and ruthlessly massacring a hidden subset of society that the public at large simply ignored. 6 years ago, we saw on display the mass shooting at Pulse, a gay nightclub in Florida, where dozens of people were injured and murdered while doing nothing more than dancing. A hate crime that prompted a terror that reverberated throughout the LGBTQIA+ community. In the not-so-distant past, there were couples deeply in love who are not legally allowed to marry because their love was deemed unnatural and sinful. Around the world, there are still those who are not afforded basic human rights. To this day, many of our transgender or gender non-binary beloveds cannot even safely use a public restroom demarcated by gender. We have lost our siblings to hate crimes and suicide, and this needs to break our hearts wide open. During Pride Month, this discrimination, hate, and violence is held in defiance as we work to create a beloved community where those who have faced ridicule can find peace, where those who have had to fight can instead celebrate, where those who have faced a lifetime of uncertainty can find hope. Pride, a celebration and a protest. A rainbow flag rippling in the wind announces, I will not be defined by stigma, hate, and fear. Bright blue eyeshadow and cheeks covered with glitter proclaim, this is who I am, and this is who I will remain. Dance music projected into the streets professes, you cannot make me live in fear. You cannot make me hide. These celebratory declarations of self are one of the most beautiful things I have ever experienced. We demand change and build community by dancing. Everyone is welcome in the streets of Pride. How can we be a faith community that affirms and promotes love, gender expression, celebratory resistance, and radical acceptance? So many of our LGBTQ siblings have been hurt, condemned, and rejected by faith communities. It is time for all of us to reimagine and reinterpret faithful living. What is it that makes a faith open and inclusive? It is one where no one is threatened by divine punishment or damnation or judgment, where each person knows that every identity they possess is good and whole and beautiful and sacred and holy. As a chaplain, I understood myself as a conduit for the sacred, and in that role, I offer affirmations to my LGBTQ beloveds. You have inherent worth. The divine loves you. You are not damned. You are a celebrated part of all that is. You matter to me, and you matter to all things sacred. Our Unitarian Universalist faith draws from many sources, including Judaism and Christianity. Similarly, the dominant culture of our nation is largely based in Christian norms and beliefs. And so I continue our exploration of an open and inclusive faith through a survey of affirming and sometimes reimagined Christian and Jewish ideals. I'm going to offer pieces of scripture interpreted through the lens of love and through the lens of Unitarian Universalism ideals I hold as truth. Let us lift up this first truth. LGBTQ folks are made from all that is sacred. What Christians call God, what we may call spirit of life, and no one is a mistake. In the Psalms it is written, for you created my innermost being, you knit me together. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your gifts are wonderful, I know that full well. I want to lift up in particular that first phrase, you, God, created my innermost being. There are no caveats to this statement. No people listed who are not divinely created. We are each intentionally and lovingly and purposefully formed. As a Unitarian Universalist, I understand this verbiage in a slightly different way. We all come from the same source, and to the same source we will all return. We are each birthed from the same stardust, the same essence of love, no one a mistake, but a unique and sacred gift. Our second truth, every church needs its LGBTQ members. I offer words from 1 Corinthians. The human body has many parts, but the many parts make up one whole body. So is it with the body of Christ. Some of us are Jews, some are Gentiles, some are slaves, and some are free, but we have all been baptized into one body by one Spirit, and we all share the same Spirit. Jew, Christian, Muslim, pagan, Buddhist, gay, straight, bisexual, transgender, cisgender, male, female, and anywhere in between. Without each of us, we are an incomplete whole, a body missing its heart or liver or lungs. Each identity and human experience brings with it its own wisdom, insights, joys, and worldviews. Our society at large, as well as our individual houses of worship, are incomplete if we do not celebrate in the wholeness of all that is, the wholeness of unique identities and experiences, all forms of love, all genders. Our third truth, love is a gift from all things sacred. In Galatians, it is written, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Nowhere in this text is there a mention of a forbidden love, but instead we hear of a love that is held as universal, a universality that no arbitrary law can interfere with. Love is the greatest gift that any entity or essence could bestow upon us. It is my firm belief and is held in this sacred text that there are no exceptions or caveats to this sacred gift. Love is love. Heterosexuality or homosexuality or bisexuality or asexuality, any sexuality is simply one expression of love. Our final piece of scripture is more of a poetic representation of love than a statement of truth, a love that many biblical scholars interpret as gay. It is an ancient biblical profession of devotion from one woman to another. In the book of Ruth, it is written, from Ruth to Naomi, wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. Let those beautiful sentiments sink in. If that love is not a gift, I don't know what is. If that love is condemned, then I have lost all faith. That, my beloveds, is an open, welcoming, inclusive expression of faith. That is the liberal Christianity and Judaism we draw upon as two of our several sacred sources in Unitarian Universalism. May this theology serve to guide us. May we be accepting, affirming, and welcoming. As a faith of intentional acceptance, one of our greatest strengths is our commitment to inherent worth. In our faith, inclusivity is held at the forefront. The very first principle by which we covenant to live by is to affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Every person matters. Every person is sacred. When we fully embrace this covenant, assuming the worth of all becomes a way of life, a way to orient ourselves in the world. Judgment falls to the wayside. Love guides our actions. We embrace those who may be rejected elsewhere. As such, we cannot be a passive faith, but an active faith, bringing these ideals into fruition through our daily action centered in love and acceptance, one small, perhaps even seemingly insignificant act at a time. A smile to one who is not expecting it, an act of kindness to one whom other faiths have rejected, an offering of compassion to the spiritually wounded, an affirmation that love is love, that any gender expression is beautiful and sacred. One of our greatest practices, as well as intentional aspirations, is that of radical welcome and focus on safety. In these walls, may no one be harmed or threatened physically, emotionally, or spiritually. And that takes intention and commitment. Tangibly, we can offer gender-neutral bathrooms and share our pronouns. We can also offer acceptance and welcome from our hearts. May our very presence and collective energy be open and inclusive so that anyone who enters these doors and those of us who are already here know love and belonging and safety. Our actions need to be grounded in intentional love, to not offer judgment or condemnation to anyone in this sacred space, but compassion and acceptance. No matter what a person is wearing, how one's hair is styled, or who one is holding in embrace, if we can cultivate this here, we can bring this into each of our homes and workspaces and any public setting. Finally, let us not forget our faith's history and foundation. We are a faith that embraces judgment-free love. The very history of universalism and universal salvation embodies this. May we let each beloved know, just as we know, that damnation is not and has never been a part of our faith. Historically, we were all divinely saved. In our contemporary faith, this phraseology may carry with it certain baggage, but one thing is clear. No one is judged or condemned by anything held sacred. Today, in this moment, may our ideals call us to resist enthusiastically and delightfully. The opportunity is right before us and impossible to ignore. As a sacred collective, may we each proclaim openly and publicly and unabashedly that love is love, that any gender expression is beautiful. May we embrace pride, this celebration, and this protest. May we join in the streets, hand in hand, with joy and delight, with glitter and rainbows. May we love, may we affirm, may we dance. May it be so, and amen. Please rise in body or in spirit to join our voices in hymn number 311 in our gray hymnal, Let It Be a Dance. dancing in these streets celebrates that no one is a mistake, but a gift. May every one of our siblings draped in rainbows intuits that each and every individual is needed for our sacred whole. May every jubilant protester embrace that everyone is gifted the divine right to love. In these walls and in our hearts, love is love. Every gender is sacred. So may we dance, may we sing, may we cover ourselves in glitter. Go in peace, and amen.
Broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you. We're gonna walk it out. Mountains, we're gonna walk it out. Mountains, and I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up, in spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. When the silence isn't quiet, it feels like it's getting harder to breathe. And you know I feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its knees. Mountains, bring it to its knees. Mountains, and I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And you, for you, all we need is hope, and for that we have each other, for that we have each other. Rise up, rise like the day, I rise.